Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, and I'm back with you on another new chapter of Gundam Seed Soldier. Once again, sorry that it's been a while since I last, uploaded for that of this story after all. I told you guys this before, and I'm still telling you guys this now. I've basically been done with this story. It's mainly recording that's always going to take some time after all. So, yeah. I'm going to keep on making that, priority until you guys figure that out after all. So, yeah. Any rate, I appreciate that the love you guys have for the last chapter. Honestly, that was kind of one of my most fun chapters. It didn't get a lot of traction, but I did get a lot of good comments, so I really can appreciate it a lot, guys. Any rate, with all that said, let's go that of a recap. In the last part, the battle in that of the Northern Territories against with the Desert Dawn and Archangel Crew Alliance, facing against the Desert Tiger Wolfeld Company and also the White Fox Company as well, as things play out a lot more differently than they would have in canon, where Dirka and basically Isaac were normally always behind and were basically nothing but useless. They actually helped out during the battle and were given orders, mainly due to that of Isaac being, the more reasonable and relatable one, actually. Even a couple times, he was able to basically put that of Kira on the back foot for once. Sure, he had help from Shiro and that of her, squad mates as well, but even so, Kira was pushed to his limit before killing one of them, being that of Jan. As for that of Eren facing against Wolfeld and Aisha, the battle was basically rough between these two, warriors of combat, using speed, timing, and precision for each strike. Before then, using that of the Genova burst system, becoming one and enhancing that of the performance of his Strife Gundam, basically nearly destroying that of Wolfeld's Lego. Luckily and thankfully, he still had enough consciousness and control to make sure that he didn't aim for anything too vital to the Lego, just enough to keep it immobile, with Wolfeld realizing that he did it to keep them alive, telling them that they're good people that need to stay in that of this war, especially to help that of the plants as well. With now the Archangel and the Desert Dawn defeating Wolfeld, gaining a second victory for the Alliance. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Chapter 13, A New Rival. Back in the present, with that of all of the Gunpla battlers that are listening to that of Eren's story, as currently right now, he's bringing in that of a few boxes in, with then soon looking at everybody, with then saying, yeah, a little shocking, isn't it, on what I actually did. With then Ryuji, the Majin of Gunpla battles, looking at that of his rival and friend, saying, you really took on Andrew Wolfeld, the Desert Tiger, the Rumble Rao of Gundam Seed, and you defeated him while also keeping him and his lover alive. As the silver-haired young man can't help but be quite impressed and also a little bit jealous at the same time, saying, it's something to admire, to be honest, my friend. Still, there are consequences of doing such a thing, a butterfly effect. With then Gabriel saying, you heard him, Ryuji. He's been doing that butterfly effect all this damn time, even if he is in an AU universe. With Sam going through that of his computers as the Asian American Gunpla battler can help and scientist saying, he's right, yeah. Stuff like I'm looking through everything here, through certain episodes, everything else. Turns out this is an AU timeline. Like, for example, did you know in Heliopolis, Miguel survives? With then everybody looking at that of black-haired teen, with then saying, yeah, with soon showing the computer everybody, showing that of the fight in canon between that of Kira and Miguel and that of Heliopolis, where normally Kira basically slices Miguel's Gin in half with the Strike Gundam sword pack, but instead he ended up surviving because he ejected out of his mobile suit at the exact same time before Kira cut it in half. Not to mention another thing that's also changed in this AU timeline. Looking further back, more and more, he sees that Flay actually grows up with that of her mother. Normally, her mother dies basically at a very young age, leaving her with that of her, Blue Cosmos supporter of a politician father. But her mother was basically a lot more opening, causing her to not see that of coordinators as monsters, but at least see as people, mainly children, who had no choice but have their genetics changed by their parents, showing that they didn't have a choice at birth to become a coordinator or not, but the person that they raised them to be. Sure, she was still afraid of them, but not to the same degree or basically to the same psychoticness as Canon Flay. But then, Aaron hearing that, realizing, so she really was telling the truth. That's to be expected from my girl. With then, hearing that, Gabe saying, I'm sorry, Aaron, what the hell did you just say? With then, Aaron, a little bit blushing through his tan skin, saying, nothing at all. With then scratching the back of his head, saying, that's to come up in a little bit to explain, but still, anything else differently outside of me tagging along? Within, looking around, saying, looking through the data he went through, it seems you stopped all the way to within, blinking multiple times, saying, you stopped right in between that of the fight between, it was normally supposed to be between that of the Aegis and the Strike. You came back during that fight, but how? Within, Aaron saying, I'll explain in a bit. As for another thing, I need to go through that of things also changed being in an AU, like certain weaponry and outside of certain characters from the Stray or spin-off series appearing, there were some other things that made somewhat of appearances too that shouldn't have even been part of Gundam Seed, and yet they did. With then, that's when Stephanie finally spoke up, as the CEO couldn't help but think, you're joking, right? Are you talking like other mobile suits, maybe Gundams from other series, for example? With then, couldn't help but smirk and laugh, saying, if only. I'm talking crazier shit. But like I said, let me continue what I was going. As Aaron soon basically continues his story with then soon back in that of the Northern African territories at Walfeld's base, the remaining ZAF forces in that of the city are currently packing things up, as Walfeld and Aisha, alongside that of, Walfeld's right-hand man DaCosta, are currently seeing everything play out in that of Mansion while still recovering. Within, Shiro soon arriving, saying, looks like everything's planning out. Once again, thank you about this, Andrew. But saying, yeah, we lost. Anyway, I was still planning on doing this either way when you said so. Well, at least alliances between that of the locals of the Northern Territories alongside that of ZAF is perfect. And I just hope that the person that basically replaces me keeps that treaty going. Oh, trust me, I found somebody who definitely will make sure to keep that of the treaty in peace exactly as we wished. With then Aisha going over to Shiro as she soon hugs that of the silver blue net, saying, Shiro, with Shiro caught off guard, saying, what are you talking about? You guys ain't leaving me just yet. Within, hearing this, everybody confused. Within, Walfeld saying, let me guess. You're coming with us back to the homeland, are you not? With then, she's smiling, saying, of course I am. I need to give my report about that of the newest mobile suits from the mercenary company. That Ace, or rather, the name he's using as a code name, given that I'm definitely sure that he doesn't have amnesia outside of his mercenary company. He knows what his true name is. Well then, he's saying, oh definitely, that boy, he cannot lie to save himself. He's definitely but he has been honest with us. Even if he has been, well, even though he has been keeping secrets, most likely even from that of his own crew and team. With Walfelt basically huffing too, saying, that boy is something else. One hell of a pilot, has one crazy machines, and definitely knows on how this war is definitely going to end. That Avalanche group. Call me crazy, but I'm kind of interested in them, to be fair. With then Takasa saying, sir, you can't be serious. Are you thinking about joining them? With then Walfelt saying, don't get me wrong, definitely not. My loyalty will always be to that of the plant. And I'm a soldier first. But if this war does lead to what he says, which is most likely going to be co-extinction towards genocide due to the hatred that both coordinators and naturals have for each other, with the radicals of the plants getting more and more power. Don't forget about that Blue Cosmos. Blue Cosmos is getting bolder and bolder as the years now go by, proving that things are becoming a lot more convoluted, not knowing on which side is truly the right side anymore. And maybe, just maybe, with then him basically smirking, saying a third faction is necessary to put an end to this war. Maybe a side that's even worse than both of them combined, that would unify them together as one. And I just wish it was possible. That's all I'm saying. With him saying his piece, as he gets up, saying, now then, what are you going to do, little Shiro? Since you plan on giving your report to that of the council, who's going to be in charge of Gorelia Fortress? Don't worry, Captain McMillan will be in charge of Gorelia Fortress for the time being until I return. But if I'm going to be complete and utterly honest, my girls need some time away from the battlefield, especially after Jen's death. Within hearing that, everybody in the room stay quiet. Before Madam Walfelt scratching his head, saying, sorry about that, Shiro. Jenna was a good girl. Definitely a soldier you can be proud of. With her, and then Shiro saying, yeah, she was. As you can actually feel tears coming down her eyes, saying, she was always so serious. Not like Melanie's type of serious, but always did her job well. She was always a hard worker too. Not even the best mobile suit pilot, but yet she always improved with every sortie. It's just... Shiro looking like she's about to completely break down. Just a strong-willed woman who always has to stand tall, now finally breaking down in front of those she can trust. No longer on the battlefield. No longer a commander right now. As she's just a 20-year-old woman who cares too much. Is Aisha doing the best she can to comfort her? With Walfeld looking back outside, seeing the night sky, saying, quite a sad night then. You won this day, Desert Dawn, Archangel crew. Enjoy it while you can. And may be one of your last, or at least in the coming of months. Especially you, young Merc. With those words becoming quite ominous for the future. Currently with that of the Desert Dawn and the Archangel crew, alongside that of, well, the Serpent Tail crew that actually decided to take part in that of the party. Currently now the town of Tassel, where everybody's enjoying themselves. Reverie and that of the party and that of the freedom. Captain Ramius, Natterol, and alongside Mu, with even Kigali and that of, well, Kisuka here as well. Seeing everybody enjoy themselves, even those among the Archangel crew enjoying that of the party and festivities too. with Moo cutting up a whisper saying, talk about that of celebration. You guys really know how to party. With then, the African man Bashman couldn't help but laugh in joy, saying, this is truly something worth celebrating after coming this far. We've been battling for our homeland for almost that of 2 years straight. After the Eurasian Federation failed to protect us, we had to defend ourselves. But now the time of fighting has come to an end. With then, Kigali saying, yeah, you'll be able to rebuild now. Saying, actually, we have made that of a consensus. Once the Archangel leaves, peace within the northern territories between Zaf and the natives of this land will now be coexist with one another. No more battles, no more fighting. And in return, we'll at least be gaining that of mobile suits of our own to continue to defend ourselves. Within, hearing that, soon Kigali saying, wait, when was this? When will you tell me? Within, Austin looks at that of Kigali saying, after the battle was over, once we defeated the Desert Tiger and the White Fox. Once the Archangel leaves, the treaty begins, which also means if you do come back, we may come back as enemies. With then, Moo saying, so in a way, you kind of used us. With then, soon Nataro annoyed saying, so basically this is a warning. If we come back, you're going to shoot us down. With that of the former rebel leader saying, I'm doing this for the best of my people. The White Fox made a proposition that I couldn't deny. She wanted coexistence between that of the Northern Territories and Zaf, instead of basically brute forcing or taking things from us, like how that of Walfeld did. She negotiated, tried to appeal to us, our humanity. It's hard to remember a time when humanity treated people like people, and yet she actually shown that. And I will keep the end of my deal for both you and also for her as well. Once this is over and you repair and you gain your supplies and repairs after the few days and you leave, our alliance is over. But I do still appreciate everything you've all done for us and my people. As he bows his head in that of true honor, humbleness, with Kigali saying, I really hope it was worth it. With then saying, however, I do ask for one favor of the Archangel crew. With then, Narumi saying, it's only natural. Please, ask away. As the man saying, thank you. The thing is, I wish for you to take this one back to Orb. Within, looking at Kigali, and also that of Kiska right beside her, with Kigali saying, what? Why would you? Kigali, thank you for what you've done, fighting for us, standing with us. Your father did everything he could to help us in his own way. It's that very reason why he sent that of the Serpent Tails to help us, instead of sending that of aid and forces. With then, hearing that, she's saying, so that's the real reason why he's here. But he said he did it in a way to make it seem like he was doing this for his own selfish reasons, and not to get you confirmed about that of your father, who wished to aided me. The mercenary Guy Morikumo is far more complex than I give him credit for a man that is a coordinator and doesn't show that much emotion. After this, his job is over. I don't know where the mercenary will go, if he'll go back to Orb, or if he'll basically do his own thing and wander out of the world. Maybe he'll join the Alliance, or maybe even join Zaf. Who could say? Mercenaries are quite unique individuals. Within, soon, Moo saying, ain't that the truth? Within, Kigali saying, speaking of, where is our little mercenary friend? I figured he would enjoy the party. Within, Nataro sighing, saying, know where he is. He's currently back on the Archangel. He did say he enjoyed the party for a bit, but within, finishing that of Nataro's words, is with that of the Heliopolis teens, with Kira, Sai, Tola, and Moralia, as Cuzzy saying, Sorry, it looks like he's going to be heading back up. He wasn't a big fan. He's not a big fan of parties, to be honest. With Kira saying, guess he's not much of a people person then. With Morales saying, Kira. With Soon, Kira saying, right, sorry. With Tola thinking, I don't think he's hiding anything this time. I just really think he's kind of introverted. Don't you guys think? He has one moment of speaking his mind, but then the next moment he just feels, nervous around people a lot. Like somebody else I know. With Tola looking at his coordinator best friend, with realizing, hey, what are you getting at, Tola? With then Moralia looking at Kira, with that of her boy coming to the same realization as her boyfriend, saying, you know what? Yeah, I can see it now. Definitely. With then even Sai saying, you know what? Yeah, I can totally see it now too. He's just way more aggressive than you, Kira, but definitely really shows your qualities. With then everybody laughing at that of Kira, with Kira feeling quite attacked right now and also embarrassed at the same time. With Cuzzy couldn't help but laugh too, seeing this. Cuzzy realized, wait, where's Flay? When I went to go ask that of Mr. Ace if he wanted to hang out with us, it looked like she was here, wasn't she? With then everybody looking around, with Sai saying she said she had to use the bathroom for a bit. Didn't think it would take so long. With then Kira saying, you know what, I think I'm going to take a break too. Honestly, I do appreciate and I'm glad everybody's happy, but I'm going to go and to call it a night too. With then Tola saying, really, Kira? Saying, yeah, sorry for worrying, guys, but I think I need a break a bit. With then, as Kira walks away, heading to that of the Archangel, with everybody else, with Sai saying, man, he's still not over Flay, isn't he? With then, Tola saying, that's rich coming from you. With then, Sai saying, yeah, right. Honestly, I have that coming. Especially given what the things I said to that of Ace after all. And also, how I made that of Flay feel uncomfortable. To be honest, I should have asked if she was okay with that of our arranged marriage years ago. If she told me no from the very beginning, I probably would have either accepted it or tried my best to make it work. Get to know her a little more, possibly, but I think I was just glad that I had at least somebody in my life after all. I didn't care what Flay think or what Flay wanted. And if she wants Ace, then I'm good with her, especially if she wants to join Avalanche. But then, hearing that, all of the Heliopolis kids, especially Tola, Moralia, and Cuzzy, heard that of a record scratch as soon as they heard that from Sai, with all of them saying, she's doing what? With Sai realizing what he said, saying, crap. Sorry, Flay. Currently back on the Archangel, there's not really that many crew members on that of the ship after all, since the majority of them are outside with that of the Desert Dawn partying in Tassel. But right now, currently in that of a certain room, you can basically hear moaning, actually. Feminine moaning at that. As the moaning gets louder and louder before coming to a screeching end for a bit. As it's actually coming from, well, Aaron's room, actually. As you can already, if for any of you guessing, yep, Aaron and Flay finally did it. They finally fucked. With Aaron huffing and quite exhausted, and Flay slumping on top of him, and over with the covers over them, with her having that of a look of pure and utter joy on her face. And you may be wondering how this led to that. Before then getting back to the present, with then Gabriel grabbing Aaron by his collar saying, you cannot be serious. You fucked Flay Alster? Hey, Gabe, calm down. Let me explain. You kept on saying that that you had no romantic interest into her. What the fuck changed? Within, Ryuji going right beside that of Gabe, as he basically removes that of one of his arms from Aaron's collar. Within, he realized what's happening, saying, sorry, man. Just, what the fuck, dude? You always say that you didn't like Flay in C, dude. What the hell happened? With Aaron catching his breath, saying, that's the thing, Stephanie spoke up, saying, she cared about you. She comforted you. You were reaching your breaking point, weren't you? With then, hearing that, soon, Sam realized, oh shit. She caught you at a bad time, didn't she? As the blonde, tan-skinned, blue-eyed Gunpla battler couldn't help but sigh, before then saying, yeah, let me explain on how it led to that, guys. I was just about to go into it before somebody tried to choke me out, but then Gabe saying, I'm fucking sorry, seriously, I overreacted. As the African-American young man couldn't help but feel a little bit, attacked, but it's justified. With then Aaron speaking, saying, I was enjoying the party for a bit, seeing everybody having fun, enjoying themselves. The fact that Tassel was still around and yet wasn't burned to a crisp, and the people despising Walfeld even more, which basically just symbolizes the very thing that Seed was saying, that hatred alone is the very thing that ruins everything, that war ruins everything. But then again, it didn't happen. Walfeld didn't try to show a sign of mercy and punishment at the same time, like he would give them a chance to leave their homes while he burned it to the ground, so they would still have their lives, their families, their loved ones. Everything right now that he is missing is right now he's looking at his drink, as seeing his own reflection, as he can't help but begin to think about that of his parents. His mom constantly worried for him, his dad strict as hell, but not in a way where it's cruel, but mainly that he would know right from wrong after all. And if anything, he's kind of worried if he's even still alive. Worried that he's going to be all right, especially the fact that he doesn't know if they know that he's missing, if Sam is even still trying to get him out, or Sam even knows that he's even missing or at all. He doesn't know what the hell is happening outside now. And all he can think about is them. Thinking about what would happen if they know that he's basically gone, how they would react. His mom's reaction definitely be bawling tears, wondering when her son, her precious baby boy, would be coming back. Then his old man, knowing him, he would basically slap around Sam a few bits to find him out before trying to hold back his own tears too. Because the guy's one big ass softy deep down when it comes to his loved ones. That's just how his parents have been. The people he's always been thankful to be raised by. The people who are always open-minded and thankful for it and cares about that of his hobby as not just playing video games, but also being a Gunpla battler and reaching the heights that he is now. If it wasn't for their support, maybe. But then he begins to just feel like he's about to break. As soon Cuzzy came by saying, hey, Ace, we were wondering if you were, sorry, just not feeling all right. Think I'm done for tonight. Gonna go to bed for a bit. Thanks for asking, Cuzzy. Appreciate it. As he soon basically heads off, within the black-haired young man saying, sure. As even Natterall was about to ask him out. However, for some reason, part of her believes that maybe she should have stopped him or gone after him, but yet she didn't. As Aaron heads back to the Archangel, seeing that some of the, engineer of the mechanics are still looking over that of the Gundams, as he basically told him not to worry about his own mobile suits, given that they don't really need that much repairs at all, since they're Gunplas after all. Not to mention the armor that they're based on don't really get that damaged that easily after all, too. But right now, he does not care about that. All he just needs to get to his room, so he can break down properly. However, no matter what he tried, that's when he begins to start whimpering a bit, and tears begin to come down before soon somebody saying, Mr. Ace. Then he remembers it being Flay saying, hey, Flay, I gotta go. You're not feeling all right, aren't you? With then him going, no, I'm saying I'm fine. Please, say, you can talk to me. I said I'm fine, damn it. Just leave me the hell alone. As he snaps back at her, however, she can see his red puffy eyes and tears still coming down and a look of pure and utter frustration. But however, even though she was afraid for a split second, she still basically moves forward before then wrapping her arms around him, saying, I said let go, damn it, I don't need. But then he continued, his tears keep coming down, saying, damn it, well, it's not fair. It's just not fair. As he begins to sniffle and everything else, saying, why do I have to be the one to suffer this? It's not fair. All the people I help, all the people I protect, I do it all, and yet I feel so goddamn empty. As he just began to let the tears run down, with then the two of them collapse to the ground for a bit, as she begins to rub his head, saying, it's okay, I'm here for you. I'll be always here for you, my hero. No matter what, let it all out. It's just us. Just only us. With that, it just keeps on coming. His tears, his wails, everything. The fact that he feels like he's trapped in a world where he'll never see his parents, his friends, his family, everybody that he cares about, gone forever. As getting at least some strength back into his legs, Flay notices this, brings him back to his room. However, he still basically clings on to her. Seeing this, she couldn't help but basically smile for a bit, saying, I'm not going anywhere. Like I said, I'm always going to be here for you. As he clings tightly to her, saying, please don't leave me. Don't leave me, Flay. Hearing that, Flay felt something of pure and utter courage and willpower. The first time she did it, she first kissed him back in that of orbit when he went out to defend that of the Archangel crew. And that courage is 10 times even more than before. As she kisses that of Eren again, as he feels the kiss, but instead of feeling surprised by it the first time, he basically melts into it, fully enjoying it more than anything, as it turned from that of just a simple kiss into a full-on makeout session, with both their hands roaming each other's bodies. However, with some self-control, Eren realized what they were about to lead to, saying, Flay, I waited for this for a while now. I'm not turning back now. As they kissed again, before then, they began to remove a bit of that article of their clothing before laying onto the bed. Led to that of a very passionate night. To currently now, to Eren wrapping his arms around that of Flay. To Flay basically saying, I love you, Ace. If then saying, Eren. With her looking up, seeing her messy, disheveled hair and exhaustion, saying, my real name is Ace. Ace McGrath. That whole me having amnesia is basically a ploy. So I wouldn't give up my real name to the Alliance. Ace is just a code name I use. With her saying, I figured as much. Honestly, I think everybody in the Archangel crew knows. With Eren basically huffing, saying, God, that is so annoying. People always said that I suck at lying. And she couldn't help but laugh a little bit, saying, don't worry, I'll keep your secret. After all, we're part of the same mercenary company now, right? Then Eren looking down, before smirking, saying, yeah, I guess so. At that very moment, Eren didn't know, but he fell in love with Flay right then and there. It would just be a while until he realized it. Currently in the present, with then, soon, Gabe saying, God, I really am a fucking asshole. Eren, dude, I really am. It's good, Gabe, it's good. I always loved Seed for its mobile suits. I never gave a damn about the story or characters after growing out of it, and you and me both, but for some reason Flay was the one character I actually like outside of Shin and a few of the other characters of Gundam Seed Destiny. So just finding out that you actually, got with her really grind my gears, man. Sorry. It's all good. Then Ryuji spoke up saying, you broke down again. You were missing your family after everything. Seeing all those people happy, enjoying themselves, they not only have their families, but they also still have their homes because of the actions. Stephanie saying, the White Fox, that Commander Izuyoi, she did it. Within, everybody looking at that of the blonde CEO, and she couldn't help but smirk saying, I mean, it's only obvious. Would Walfeld or anyone else under his, command, especially that of his beloved Aisha, basically convince him not to destroy Tassel as basically a sign of punishment for defying him? With everybody looking around, realizing no, he wouldn't. He would still do it. Because again, he's not a mindless killer. He's a soldier. With her nodding, saying, exactly. And Izuyoi, the way you spoke about her and so highly of her too, basically proves that she is one of the few people in this AU timeline where characters that should not exist but do exist are here. She convinced Walfeld to not destroy Tassel. She's the one that convinced that of the Desert Dawn to make a peace treaty and work with that of Zaf instead of going against them. As far as I know, this woman, Shiro Izuyoi, may be the true main character of Gundam Seed, not Kira. Hearing this, leaving all the man in that of the room completely caught off guard by her words. Before then, Stephanie saying, or maybe she would have been a protagonist of a separate Gundam series. Maybe that of part of an OVA series instead. God forbid that Seed does necessarily need one. With then hearing that, all of them couldn't help but laugh a bit. Before then, Eren saying, you're not entirely wrong about that. But other than that, Flay was always by my side. I just couldn't fully appreciate it until that very moment. With Sam going, well, given the fact that she, instead of usual canon, where she'd basically be spending most of her time using Kira as nothing but a tool for her to kill every coordinator in her way, and basically try to shut down her feelings for Kira, and to believe dead, and even forgave him when there was nothing needing to forgive. In the main timeline, this shows that the Flay that you've been interacting with, given that she has a more healthy upbringing due to her mother's impact after her passing, not only saving that of her father, her one remaining family member, showing off your ideas of being on that of how you see coordinators and naturals. I think you were more than just a crush. I think you were actually the genuinely first person that she was in love with that wasn't Kira Sai. With hearing this, Eren couldn't help but sigh a bit, saying, I guess so. Before huffing, saying, even so, I got Flay involved in a lot of shit. Don't even get me started on the shit that basically made me a little bit worried for her, but also showed that the original Seed timeline really screwed her up and wasted her potential. With then Ryuji saying, in what way? Within looking at that of his friend saying, all right, calm down, Seed fanboy. With Ryuji giving him that of an annoyed deadpan look. Before then he continues saying, let me continue on after this. A few days later, currently now at Guerrilla Fortress, a ship is now loading on that of multiple mobile suits and also bringing in that of reinforcements from space. with the transporter having that of 3 familiar people, or rather 4 people now, that being Raul Croiset, Athrun Zala, Nicole Amalfi, and also the newest member of the LaCroixet team, with Dirka and Isaac seeing out of their comrades and commander and giving them a salute, saying, "Sir, welcome to Earth, sir." Raul saying, "I've heard the reports down in that of the Northern Territories. You both doing okay?" With then Dirka comment saying, "Not gonna lie, sir, it was a kind of a pain in the ass to deal with. The original commanding officers of both here in Guerrilla and the Northern Territories really did not appreciate our help after all." With then is elbowing Dirka saying, "Ow!" saying, "All due respect, sir. Many of the people and soldiers who died fighting for what they believed in was right. I know you told us that we should use this time to basically relieved on duty after all, but we couldn't help and try and bring down that of the Legate ship in the strike and the mercenary too." With then hearing that, LaCroix is saying, "It's appreciated, Isaac. I'm looking, and not only that, you changed quite a bit. You're a lot more mature, less hot-headed. We're going to need that in our pursuit of the Legate ship, as you said." Saying, "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir." Patting him on the shoulder again before walking off, saying, "Also, please allow us to welcome that of our newest member of your team and squad. Introduce yourself. I'll meet with that of the commander. He'll be heading out." With LaCroix walks off, if everybody looking at the newest member with that of Athrun and Nicole already knowing who their newest member already is, given the introductions that they met with. With then, soon, Dirka saying, "And you are?" With soon, and having his hands in his pocket saying, Shard LaBeurle. I'll be your newest redcoat teammate that would be replacing that of your former squad mate, Rusty, who tragically passed away at Heliopolis after all, doing his duty to the homeland." Within hearing that, Isaac wanted to basically speak out, but before keeping it calm, saying, "I'm guessing this is a higher-ups decision, or is it that Commander LaCroix brought this up instead?" Saying, "Both, actually. Commander LaCroix brought it up to the higher-ups, and the higher-ups allowed it, given that I was dismissed from my former squad, unfortunately. I was free to sortie with all of you, as I've told this to that of Amalfi and Zala, after all." With hearing that, Athrun saying, "As much as we appreciate you being part of this squad, I hope you know that what we'll be facing against is something beyond that of normal Earth Alliance ships, especially given the prototype," saying, "Oh, I'm aware about the prototypes. After all, thanks to the combat data you've always sent that of the motherland about the Earth Alliance's prototype mobile suits. We're already in development of having mobile suits that can counteract them. Especially, we've now realized that that the Earth Alliance is using beam technology. So it's about time that we step up our production as well." With then hearing that, soon Dirk is saying, "So the R&D boys are really starting to kick it up a notch. Hopefully those new mobile suits are at least enough for us to finally bring down that of the, Alliance once and for all." With then Isaac saying, "So, what squad did you originally come from, after all?" With then Shard looking at everybody as the curly, blonde-haired young man spoke, saying, "The Lomo squad. I was originally under Captain Jane Lomo and that of her squad, to be honest. Unfortunately, half of them were basically wiped out due to an ambush from that of Naturals. There were only a few of us survivors, so we had to disband, unfortunately. We survived and defeated them, but many of my comrades lost their lives. That's why I'm here, because of disbandment of less members." With then Nicole a little bit nervous about that, as he walks off saying, "I'm gonna try and look around." Hopefully I can basically use this time to adjust the blitz for atmospheric battles after all. Within, Athen saying, yeah, same here. I'll do the same with the Aegis. Have to adjust for gravity after all if I use the mobile armor form. As the two walk off, leaving that of Isaac and that of, well, Dirka a little bit confused, wondering what's wrong with them. With then, as saying, well then, I really look forward to working with all of you. Let us finally bring down that experimental ship and the mercenaries along with it. Also, speaking of the mercenary, within, Isaac heard this saying, how about you stay away from that guy? He's my target after all. Within, hearing that saying, oh, I mean, the commander said that you were a hothead, but seeing that you were acting a lot more responsible, it looks like you still got a little bit of that fire in you, saying, I told you, stay away from him. The merc is my target. Saying, funny, I thought for sure that it was the strike that was your target. The strike, I will take down the strike, but he's a low priority. It's the mercenary that needs to be taken care of. Saying, that's exactly the reason why. You two may have been on Earth, but you don't know this. But that mobile suit, the one that was able to wipe out that of half of the Zaf's 10th space fleet, is basically on the biggest wanted list to destroy and wipe out. Within hearing that, soon Dirk is saying, well, that's going to be easier said than done. With soon hearing this, Shard saying, why is that? Before then, Isaac and Dirka begin to explain things, leaving Shard utterly completely speechless on his face. As for that of Nicole and Athrun saying, I really can't stand that guy. What Nicole saying, yeah, he kind of gives me the creeps a little bit. I don't know what Commander was thinking about, especially when we heard about that report on his former squad. With Van saying he says that they were ambushed by that of a lion squad, leaving half of his former allies all dead and taken out. A cut and dry report, but then there were other reports, especially from the former captain Lanu. With soon Nicole saying, yeah, the fact that it said the opposite, saying that Zaf forces were the ones who destroyed them, and that one of her crewmates betrayed them, but she doesn't know which one was the traitor at the time. With Adrid saying only 3 survived, Captain Lanu, and also one of them being our newest squad mate. One of them could have been the traitor, or the traitor died with them. With Athrun clenching his fist saying, all we know is I can't trust him to have my back on the battlefield. With Nicole going, neither can I. We gotta tell Isaac and Dirka this soon as possible, at least away from him, of all people. Not to mention, they gave him an experimental prototype mobile suit. With Athrun going, yeah, I remember. As he remembers looking at the mobile suit, as it's currently in the hangar, as it's basically what you would see from another, that of Zaf's type mobile suit with that of a Model I, as it being that of a Gitz, the newest mass-produced model mobile suit that was made for that of, well, to replace the Gins, both in space and on Earth. However, some things did not go exactly as planned, given the data and development from that of the G weapons being the Gundams, those in Zaf R&D, and the current chairman of mobile suit development being Nicole's father, Chairman Amalfi, decided to incorporate that of the combat data from that of the, well, Dual, Buster, Blitz, and Aegis Gundam, and mainly used the newest mass-produced model mobile suits, the Gitz, as that of test machines. Unfortunately, the run for that of Gitz is a lot more less than usual, given that they used the originally ones that they planned on releasing to that of, well, commanders onto the battlefield as the test pilot machines, with one of them being currently here, as its backpack, its skirt, that of its, and legs are completely different from a normal Gitz, as they look quite familiar to something else. Currently with that of Lacroixet, speaking with that of Shiro, saying, "Thank you for all you've done, Commander Izuyoi, and you and your squad. Apologies for the loss of your squad mate and subordinates." As saying, "Thank you, Commander Lacroixet. I wish you the best of luck taking on that of the Archangel and that of and its mobile suits as well. The people of that ship are something else. I believe that there may be the key to ending this war, to be honest." With then hearing that, LaCroix saying, "You don't say. Care to elaborate?" Saying, "I would, but I have something more important to do, actually. I must give out my report about what we have dealt with back in that of the Northern Territories." "Excuse me," as Shiro walks past that of Lacroixet, as she couldn't help but feel that of a shiver down her spine walking past the man, with that of her girls also following her too. With then seeing that of Walfeld helping that of his beloved lover Aisha with that of with only one good arm. But then Lacroixet couldn't help but smirk at this, but tried to keep it to himself, saying, "Ah, Andrew Walfeld. My, has the mighty tiger fallen." With then Walfeld couldn't help but get annoyed, saying, "Lacroixet," but then saying, "Apologies for being a little bit rude. It's just shocking to see somebody of your caliber and skill be taken down by that of mere naturals." Within, Walfeld couldn't help but smirk, saying, "Yeah, mere naturals. I'm guessing by you being taken down by the same natural that gave you a run for your money, and even got that of old man Zagan basically pissing his pants. I would too. I would feel a little bit frustrated too." But then, hearing that, Lacroixet's little, internal smirking basically faded, saying, "What do you mean by that?" But then I saying, "The mercenary, the one with that of the mobile suit that destroyed half of the 10 fleet, we went against him again, but this time he has another mobile suit. A mobile suit that's actually quite proficiency and even stronger on Earth." Within, Walfeld saying, "Oh yeah, definitely. It has quite a bit of stuff to worry about. In case you're wondering, you can ask that of your subordinates, Jewel and Elsman, about that what they saw. Or at least what they could see, to be honest. Because to be fair, even if that of the Archangel crew didn't have a capable crew at all, that mobile suit and mercenary alone could have taken us all down by himself if he wanted. Just be able to watch out for yourself. That's all." With that, the two walk past him, leaving Lacroixet basically storing in his thoughts, saying, "To think that that person has more than one powerful mobile suit. The worst part is, while basically back on the plants, looking through all my contacts in both that of the plants, the Atlantic and Eurasian Federation, especially those pawns in that of the Atlantic Federation, to find out where this mercenary came from. I even basically used a few of my contacts within that of the underground of the world, within the black market, and a few small private military companies to basically figure out who these Avalanche is. And yet, I couldn't find out a damn thing. I don't know who this damn mercenary belongs to. I don't know how the hell that they know who I am." Within, calming himself down, adjusting his mask, saying, "They are on the top of my list of eradicating from this world. And I'll use every favor I can get to get rid of them once and for all, for my plans to go exactly as I wish. Humanity must be eradicated." With that, Lacroixet's drive and desire to end Aaron hasn't dulled any time soon yet. Back with that of the Archangel crew, getting ready to leave as they head down to Orb to drop off Kigali, of course, as the last favor to that of Ashman, of course. However, as for Kigali, she's taking quite a liking to that of the Skygrasper, so she'll basically be the main pilot for Skygrasper 2. Not to mention, she's kept company with that of Kira quite a bit of time too, as well. Especially since they arrived over that of the Indian Ocean. With many people in those in Heliopolis, all the teens basically excited seeing this place, as they never been able to see the ocean before. Even though they lived on Orb, many of them lived on Heliopolis, being that of Orb's first space colony after all. With Kigali saying, "You're not too impressed." But then Kira saying, "I lived on Orb too, mainly the main nation. It's only when I got into that of the tech college in Heliopolis that I moved up there." Hearing this, Kigali saying, "You're quite something else. Honestly, I'm kind of jealous not being able to pilot a mobile suit now. I used to hate looking at them, but now I can't help but admire them. Especially you and, well, Ace, occasionally. Not to mention, the guy seems a little bit more, happier actually, if I think about it. Less of a snarky asshole, to be fair. Well, still an asshole, but just at least less of a one." But then Kira saying, "It's not like I care. Guy is free to do whatever the hell he wants." Hearing this from Kira, Kigali saying, I know you don't like him, but is the main reason why you don't like him is because that girl Flay has a crush on him?" But then Kira blushing saying, "Where did that come from?" With then seeing the shocked look on his face, as Kigali saying, "Aha, exactly. That's exactly what I wanted to see." With then Kira blushing quite a bit, saying, "And what if it is?" With her saying, "Well, the last time I checked, she's basically the fiance to one of your friends. However, it seems like she called it off her own self and is in love with that of our mercenary friend. Especially given how close they've been for a couple few days, more than usual." But then Kira remembers, right after they were preparing to leave leave that of the northern territories of Africa, he saw that of Aaron currently speaking with that of Flay, seeing her off as she gets to that of her station in that of the bridge, and she seems a lot more happier than usual. Even that of seeing her moving her thing, as she saw that of her moving her things from that of her and Moralia's room. With Kira asking his female friend what's going on, and she's saying that she's going to be moving in with Ace, leaving him completely and utterly shocked by that. With then Moralia saying, "Gotta let it go, Kira. Flay's made her choice," as he can't help but basically look down at that, and feeling frustrated and almost feeling like tears coming down his eyes. With then saying, "She's made her choice, and I have to accept it like you said. And that doesn't mean I had to like it." Before then, seeing that of the doors opening, as being that of Flay, basically dragging that of Aaron out, saying, "Come on, don't you want to see that of the ocean? It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity," saying, "I've seen the ocean multiple times. It's just one giant big-ass body of water. It's when you see that, it's when you go scuba diving, that's where the real beauty is." Which I actually wanted to go at least once. But then she's saying, "Well, maybe in the future." With soon Aaron saying, "Doubtful, given my circumstances." As Flay wanting to basically give him that of a somewhat come on look. And then him basically rolling his eyes a bit, saying, "Yo," as he basically waves to everybody. Before soon Sai saying, "Surprised to see you outside of your mobile suit." Saying, "Yeah, no need." Yeah, she kind of dragged me out, and to be honest, I think I might have needed it. With soon Sai saying, "Look, about the past couple of months, about me being you being a dick, yeah, water under the bridge, man." With then hearing that saying, "Wait, just like that? Dude, I'm not going to spend my entire time on this ship being angry at you. You are a dick, you're able to admit it, and you're able to apologize for it. Let's move on. We're comrades. Gotta have each other's backs after all." With then hearing this, that's when that of Sai saying, yeah, let's start over. The name's Sai Argyle. With then offering up a hand too, saying, Ace, pleasure, man. As the two who used to be at each other's throats a lot, now basically put aside. With soon, Kigali saying, well, at least they're able to put it aside a bit. Before then, Kira walks off. Soon as Kigali notices, she walks after him, trying to catch up. Before then, Natterol basically coming by and saying, Ensign Yamato, with him saying, I'm going to do some calculations over the strike. I'll be back on duty. Saying, oh, of course. Be on your way, Ensign. Within, Kigali walking past. Before soon noticing that of all the kids. Within realizing, maybe I was a little worried for nothing. Or rather, I think the captain was a little worried for nothing. It almost looks like things are improving a bit. Before then, noticing that of Flay clinging on to that of Aaron, as for she can help but say, let's just hope that it's not like things don't stay too complicated. As the black-haired woman walks off, somewhat a little frustrated, and deciding to take up the position as that of acting captain, allowing that of Mu and Narumi to check outside too, to see that of the ocean, showing that things are becoming a little bit more comfortable for that of the Archangel crew. Let's get rid of that comfortability, actually. A week later, the Croysa team, alongside that of a few Zaf soldiers and submarine ships, began to head out, finally found where the Archangel is, and they plan on deploying to finally sunk the legged ship once and for all. Within, soon, Lucrezia gives out that of the battle plan, saying, Today we'll be working with that of several squads on here within that of the Indian Ocean. The first team will be that of my squad, using that of my new Saigu deep arms, alongside that of my team and their G weapon mobile suits, to basically put down barrage fire, while those of Captain Ensign's squad and that of his submarine team will use that of their aquatic mobile suits to go below that of the Archangel and basically damage it from below. Make sure you aim for that of their engines and thrusters to bring that cursed ship down once and for all. With then, soon, as the Croysa asked anyone questions, those on that of the captain and his squad on the monitor, while his own squad, within, Isaac raised his hand saying, what about that of the mobile suits, like the Strike, and also that of the newest mobile suits? With then, hearing this, but Croysa smirked before saying, of course, given the knowledge that you have given us, well, some of the knowledge that you have all given us about that of the newest mobile suit that the mercenary now has, we have found out that the mobile suit is not capable of sustaining flight, unlike that of the first one. As of now, we are now calling each of those mobile suits by the code names Alpha 1 and Alpha 2. Alpha 2 is the mobile suit, basically seems to be that of a ground type mobile suit. So, and as most likely doesn't have any, water capabilities. My best guess, it would need that of support to basically work underwater properly. So, from now on, and as for that of Omega 1, we need to make sure that it can be overwhelmed. Once we find out that the pilot is either in that of the mobile suit, in either mobile suit, we'll focus on the one with that of the mercenary inside. While focusing that of the Archangel, as he says that, he mentally basically couldn't help but disdain that name of a ship. On the focusing on us, once and for all, we'll be putting an end to all of this. Any more questions? Within, seeing that nobody has any more questions, saying, good. Everyone, prepared a sortie. It's time for us to bring down that winged ship once and for all. As for back on that of the Archangel, no longer on break with that of Flay, he currently, Aaron is basically looking through that of his systems, but then soon adjusting that of the systems for that of the Strife Gundam, saying, all right, even though the Strife is not really, water-based materials, the thrusters on its back still will allow it to basically flow through the water easily. Zaf will attack us alongside the Croiset. Not to mention, if this is an AU universe, there's a chance that Atherin will basically will either show up later on, like he does in canon, or he might already be a part of them. I'm really hoping he shows up later, given that the Aegis needs to be adjusted quite a bit for him to use on that of Earth after all. As he says his piece, as he begins to finish up that of the adjustments for the Strife, he soon begins to hear a knocking. Before Akiko saying, it's the lieutenant. As Aaron's about to ask what lieutenant, before then, Akiko cuts him off saying, the black-haired one. The one in charge of the ship, saying, oh, right. As he soon opens up, let's soon see that of Nadarol, saying, what is it, Lieutenant Badgerol? With then, she's saying, I wish to talk about your relationship with that of Cadet Alster. With then, saying, shit. Saying, look, I know that it's against protocol for that of a soldier, for that of a, military officer to have relations on a ship, but please allow me to. Within, Nadarol saying, I approve of it, at least for now. Within, saying, huh? With soon, Nadarol explains, saying, you're not technically with the military. It's basically against protocol for fraternization for that of soldiers within that of the same company to have feelings for one another. However, nothing says about that between that of civilians or that of private contracted soldiers being mercenaries. With hearing that, Aaron realized, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. But then saying, if that's the case, then with her saying, are you happy with her? Soon, Aaron saying, huh? I'm asking if you were happy with her. It gets tense on the battlefield from time to time, and sometimes throwing yourself is a good way to relieve stress and tension. So I figured saying, look, no, it's nothing like that. Look, Lieutenant, Flay makes me happy. She got me through that of a rough patch right now, and I really needed it. I needed her. So her making me happy is her basically keeping me in whole, to be honest. I normally have friends and comrades that keep me sane, so being part of this shit without them kind of, or her saying, it'd be easier enough if you actually had more people you could trust, or at least you're willing to tell the truth and stop keeping secrets. Within hearing that, Aaron realized, wait, what? Before she walks off saying, do what you need to do to finish up your repairs. I just need to say my piece, that's all. Within, as she walks off, leaving Aaron completely and utterly confused, saying, God, this Nadarol Badgerol is both a refreshing and also somewhat confusing, even more than normal canon. As Aaron said all this while going back into the cockpit, before Akiko saying, this is the guy that likes looking at her ass. But then as Aaron couldn't help but blush, saying, hey, piss off. As soon as he gets a little bit embarrassed, that's when the alarm soon go off as that of those in the bridge from the sensors notice that of multiple submarines coming behind them, and even an airship as well. Within realizing, I guess it's about that time. I better go and get on that my pilot suit. With soon those on the bridge being that of Narumi saying, Level 1 battle stations, everyone prepare. We need to know what we're dealing with. As she begins getting status reports about that of the submarines, most likely have that of underwater mobile suits, most definitely that of goons. With then Nadarol realizing this, and possibly the air mobile suits with that of air platforms, being that of Gyals, and maybe even that of a few Dins as well. Seeing the strategy she needs to plan out, she's saying, Kira, Ensign Yamato, Kira, don't use a striker pack. I have something I need you to handle as well. Saying, what do you need from me, Captain? As she soon tells Kira to not use a striker pack and actually use that of a bazooka and maybe even that of armor swords to protect the ship underwater, given that the Strike Gundam does have underwater capabilities. As long as it doesn't stay in the water for over that of 5 hours after all, then the water pressure does end up affecting that of the phase shift armor. But then Eren saying, send that of the Strife Gundam too. I'll be using that of the Loveless for the air support to defend the Archangel. With then Narumi hearing that saying, are you sure? Don't worry. The Strife can handle that of tons of water pressure. Not to mention, the backpack is hot enough to basically use thrust, have enough thrust to basically move around the water. If anything, Kira's going to need the support so you guys can get out of there. And I'll take care and I'll support that of the Archangel from the air. But then Narumi hearing that saying, understood. Head out there, Ace. Saying, roger that, ma'am. Now in his pilot suit and in that of the cockpit of the Loveless, putting in his GP base for then saying, you ready to do this? Hallelujah. Saying, I'm ready when you are. He soon heads to that of the catapult bay with being the first one out. Saying, take care out there, Kira. Saying, yeah, you too. Within, not hearing any scoff from his voice, but not a lot of pep in it either. Before shaking his head saying, this is Ace, heading out in Loveless Gundam. As he soon launches out and then jumps up into the air, thrusters out before transforming into that of its air rider mode. Before flying around, heading straight for that of the airship heading straight for them. With then seeing that of many, Zaf mobile suits, from that of Din's and also from that of a few Gins and Saigus as well. However, he also sees that of the Buster, Duel, and Blitz, and even that of a Saigu Deep Arms as well. However, what also catches his attention is that of another mobile suit. However, his eyes widening in pure and utter shock when he looks at it saying, no way, is that a Gwaze? But what really catches his eye is that it doesn't have the usual backpack of that of the Gwaze, or even the legs too, as he knows those legs and backpack all too well. With then, soon, the one in that of the custom Gwaze is Shard saying, with all due respect, sir, allow me to basically whittle down our main target. With then, Croyset hearing this saying, you sure you can handle yourself, Shard? With soon, Dirk is saying, you want to get a little cocky, man? I mean, can't blame you. And besides, we don't have Atherin right with us since his modifications towards his Aegis isn't done yet. With then, hearing that, Nicole a little bit nervous and worried for Atherin, especially for himself being next to that of Shard, saying, no need to worry about me after all. I can handle myself. And, like I said, just to test out that of the so-called Alpha 1 Boogeyman. Before soon, that of the backpack's wings begin to spread out like a familiar certain mobile suit that's known for basically blasting all in its goddamn way. Before soon bringing out that of 2 beam sabers, before putting them together into that of a double beam saber, or it's way longer than a usual beam saber, being a beam halberd. Seeing this, bring out his own double beam saber as well, as the 2 mobile suits begin to clash, as that of the Loveless and this Gwaze go at it with light blade against light blade, with Eren dodging out of the way a couple of times before then soon trying to bring out that of his beam rifle and aim. However, not allowing that at all, as soon they bring out that of their own beam rifle, with the both shots basically clashing in the air at the same time. Seeing that, they mimicking each other quite well, with soon Eren realizing that Gwei's, the way it's moving, how it's moving, it's just like, with soon the wings bring out once again. Shard couldn't help but say, surprise, are we, little mercenary? What you're facing against is the next generation of future development of mobile suits for Zaft. This is the Gwei's full arms Type F, with then, as the Type F, unlike that of the usual Gwei's experimental Type F normal, which basically has the backpack, the prototype backpack of the Justice Gundam, and the railguns of the Freedom on that of its side skirts, alongside that of the beam sabers. But instead, it has that of the two best features of the Gundams. That being the Freedom's backpack with that of its Agni cannons, and that of the Justice Gundam's beam saber that transforms into that of the double-bladed beam halberd. With Finn saying, this can't another AU change? And not only that, just who the hell is this guy? Back into the present, with Finn, soon, Ryuji saying, another a change, a separate variant of that of the Gwei's. I'm aware of the lore with the Gwei's being the prototype that they used to develop that of the Freedom and the Justice, alongside that of, well, the Dreadnought Gundam too. But the experimental type firearm has always been that of the Justice's backpack alongside that of the Freedom's legs. That is always how it's been. There's never been a variant that, within, soon Eren saying, yeah, a variant that basically uses the two best parts, all combined together perfectly, and especially given on who their goddamn pilot is. With then Gabe saying, who the hell is the pilot? With soon Eren remembering the person all too well. This guy that always gave him goddamn shivers. The person that terrified him even more and annoyed him even more than Raoul LaCroixet himself. The person that he sees as the true Char clone in his eyes after meeting this guy in person. Saying his name is Char Loburl, as this would be Eren's first true rival. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, what do you guys think? You guys think I did a pretty good job leading up to this? And also, as for that of, well, Eren and Flay being a couple, yep, that happened. I know what I said in future parts that Eren would never fall in love with Flay. Well, that's the thing. When you're basically feeling like you have been trapped in a world not of your own, constantly feeling alone, constantly risking your life, feeling like you have not been truly appreciated, and being argued about every choice you've made, you're gonna feel like everyone is constantly against you. And of course, the one person that feels like that they're by your side is the one person who's gonna stick by you, and you begin to develop feelings for them. Yeah, especially if they're the opposite sex and you're straight. And that's exactly what happened to Eren, of course. So yeah. As for Shard, well, let's just say I'm building this guy up to be something way better than just what LaCroixet is actually. I'm going to make him feel like the Char clone that we should have gotten in that of Seed, instead of freaking LaCroixet, Neo Roanoke, and freaking Ray. Oh God, I used to like Ray. Now I hate the guy. Anyway, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, keep you up my videos upload to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, main channel, side channel, Patreon, and Cash App. Link in the description below if I'm not too lazy to do so. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, hope you all take care.